And another thing, Jim Riley, Joe Zillig, Harry Race, Bernard LaChance, DJ Dave, Prolific Winwan, Elton Anderson, Don Wiley, 1961, Oyster Cracker Man, Bitted Bathor, Blue Boy Boxes, GPS Password, Robo, Rapist Night, Red Randy, Red Gordon, Ellery, Jim Hall, Bill Duvall. Bernard, etiquette for women. How do you profess to be a part of this traditional value when you display it yourself that you're not following proper etiquette for a woman? So take a look at your picture, Bernard, Ela, Chancellor, Fagel, Freeman. You're sitting in front of two women. You're in the way. You're blocking their way, Bernard. So they put you up first to prove that you're a fraud. Same with you, Robo Knight and Oyster Cracker Man, same thing. I thought you guys were the men of etiquette and tradition, but your behavior doesn't suggest so. Get it, Dave and Perlita? Your racism, it doesn't matter if they're against blacks or whites, affects everything. So, if the one wearing white is behind you, Bernard, what should I expect of the one wearing white on the YouTube screen? Maybe, Bernard, La Chance of La Fag of La Freeman, you're a murderer. And you just already proved it yourselves. You just live in denial of it, Bernard. And so you put on a carny act or country and western. Now, for country and western cowboy and Indians, you're not following an etiquette. Because some cultures, Bernard, put the woman first. That's what they used to do back in the day, but you guys don't respect it now. So be careful, Bernard, because your dominant cowboy, country, and western attitude with your bitted bet for proves everything. How come you got two men right up front of everything else and then another boy? That's men putting themselves up the front first, not displaying proper etiquette. Be careful, boys, because the very thing you might want to prove about me, Bernard, you're already proving about yourselves, and you're getting the answer. You just live in denial about it because you always put yourselves in the way. So how could you have ever been, Bernard, God, when it was probably females and you couldn't handle it? So you guys put yourselves up front first to display your dominant species, and it turned you all into a pile of shit, Bernard, because you sat there and lied to everybody about how great the group of you are, but you're really full of shit, and you are murderers and thieves and liars. Because generally, following an etiquette, when the women ruled or had some control, they were able to put the children first as well, Bernard. So that tells me, Bernard, you're not a very good parent. It means you like Harry and them, Pitkin, Jamaica Street. You guys like to parent other people's children that are not yours, Bernard. That's a classic sign of people who kidnap, because they don't know how to parent, but they know how to tell everybody what to do. Classic sign of a rapist, murderer, or whatever, Bernard. Be careful, because your attitude is transcended within Dave Balamorad and Perlita so far. So be careful what you claim that I am, Bernard, when it proves that the group of you have always been frauds. And like I said, I know Aaron, Dad, and Victor pretty well. And so if your attitude is the same like that, arrogant, Bernard, tells me something. Oyster Cracker Man, Experimentator Man, putting his needs first, like Ellery and the Robo Knight, instead of following proper etiquette. Now you guys want to do that again? You guys are going to try to be the Playboy man, wearing all black, when you guys never were? So that's why I know the Blue Children were probably done by women, Bernard, because they put the children first to make sure they weren't sick. And then some of you Christian men didn't care, coming back from war, and made them sick. And you put in your little sabotage tool, Bernard, to take control. Which would mean you, Bernard, and the All-American, Intelli Joe sitting in that plane are murderers because you guys didn't want to remember your proper etiquette. You wanted to play with your own dicks. And so that's how I go test if you're pedophile or not, Bernard, because I know what you're paying attention to, even though I told you I'm not a fag. But it's an easy way to identify those who are. So your obsession over me and Kimberly, Bernard, and Bailey and whoever else as you supposedly create your magic land, your own Never Land in competition with the Jacksons, proves two things about those two. You, Bernard, and that family. Shh. You should have picked sheesh. Whispering faggot to Fairmount means you're sicko nuts. You guys want a solution, you want a cure, but you keep dozing back in. If you want to learn proper etiquette or manners, Bernard, you would teach them. You would focus emphasis on that. But that is long since gone, because you guys want to do the ghetto life and be gangsters. Well, that makes you sick, Bernard. So if you want me to follow a proper etiquette, but you torture and then expect me to come out of it, how is that possible? So be careful, cowboy dominant man, because it proves it, who the murderers and rapists and liars are. Some of you adults, you guys went for the gold right away. See, Togo Joe Harry, your own movement through the world proves everything about some of you past several war generations and what you guys trampled on when other people had a different point of view. That's why, Perlita, when you say, I don't like Jews or Russians, and you do this, putting yourself first before proper etiquette. So like I said, Perlita and Dave and your team, be careful who you choose for your leaders. Because generally the first choice is going to be the wrong one. Because people have been following something for thousands of years, of generation. You don't always want to jump on the bandwagon to fight the war for people, because they're not going to, have your interest in mind. And so, Bernard, be careful with the cults, Jonestown, Branch Davidians, and the Havenscape, because those are generally people, the leaders, with their own agenda. So how are they following proper etiquette when they're trying to control people to either make money or to complete their agenda? Same like the school massacres and those kids that did that. Dominant species, no etiquette, but generally driven by other people who want to control other people's kids that are not theirs, Bernard. And so you guys went through to trash the blue, anything decent. That was the gift given. Because you guys knew Bailey or Kim or loved, and you, Bernard, wanted to split that up and do the Yahoo and destroyed everybody's life. So like I said, Bernard, even Boulder and some of them already know that the group of you men committed murder and lied. And then you guys do the Negro story because Bernard LaChance and Ellery like the gangster ghetto life to get away with getting laid as many times as they want. But guess what, Bernard? It also affects your health. So if your forehead is what you wanted to see on for everybody pretty much, you got that. Because you put yourself in front of the women first, Bernard, and they sat you there in that seat, tapped you on the head like the Undilla man there, the oyster cracker man. It's okay, spoiled boy. It's okay. Because you didn't follow proper etiquette, Bernard, but claimed to be that traditional Jewish man. Like Harry, and never were. So if you want to keep playing this tube game like Joe and them did, and torture shit, makes you look stupid as fuck, Joe. Harry, Bernard. What did you win, Bernard and Perlita and Dave? A big pile of your own shit mess back. Because you guys don't respect the proper people. You made victims out of the wrong ones. And Bernard, most of us are going to die and are passing away, and you seem to think that you're the almighty, great, immortal God, with Ellery and Elton and some of them, and so they'll let you, but also move into the future with your other peers that may not agree with you. Bernard and Perlita and Dave, Harry, as you run away or whatever, fade out with your Indians, they'll let you move in the future with your peers that may not agree with you and make you, and you know, what you do, make you, Bernard and Harry, look like fools of the earth forever as you disrespect another larger pool of people, Bernard, that become educated and evolve through atheism or whatever you want to call it, and finding out that your story, Bernard and Perlita, Dave, Harry, country and western, Indians and cowboys, ghetto life, carnies, as people find out what you really do, Bernard, and that your story has always been full of shit.